So I've never really talked about racism on this channel. This will be the first video to address racism. And the only reason I stumbled upon this topic is because of testosterone. So yeah, you might think like testosterone, how can it have anything to do with racism? I don't know all the details of it in terms of what happens in the brain of racist people. I don't even know if they've done these studies, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the recent athletic performance news that has happened in the last 5 years. Okay, so for example, in the year 2014, there was an Indian girl named Dutti Chand. She's the fastest runner in India. She always had the record for the 100-meter sprint. And there's a couple of organizations. There's one that kind of regulates if your testosterone is too high, like if you're doping or if you're doing some sort of hormone therapy, which allows you to have an unfair advantage on the rest of the competition, they will get you and they will basically, cancel you out of the event. They won't allow you to participate in the event. So Dutti Chand, her testosterone levels were too high. Now, what's interesting here is that she's naturally high testosterone. So they basically said, you can't participate in the International Olympics or any international event because the rule is, if your testosterone as a woman, this used to be the rule, if it's higher than 10 nanomoles per liter, which is basically the lowest, or it's at the very low range of what it is for a man, if your testosterone levels are that high as a woman, right? Because naturally speaking, men's testosterone levels are 10 to 15 times higher than a woman's, right? Because we have testes produce testosterone, and women don't have testes. They do have testosterone, but it's very, very low amount. However, the accusations are there because they believe that having that high of a testosterone level for women, naturally high, will somehow give them an unfair advantage. So this organization had to give proof. They couldn't really give proof. So Dutti Chand won the appeal in 2015 or 2016. But then recently, in 2019, just last year, there's a South African runner, Semilyak, something like that, South African black runner. And she was banned from running, even though she's the fastest runner in South Africa. She won like the bronze medal of different events, but when or the silver medal at one of the Olympics. But then what happened is they upped the rule, or they downed the rule to 5 nanomoles per liter. So now even if you're higher than 5 nanomoles per liter, you are considered too high testosterone as a woman, even if it's natural, right? Because, and there's a lot of retarded stuff here, because what they'll do is they'll literally like grope these women. They'll exploit these women. So what they did with Dutti is, and with the South African too, I'll reference their names. I don't want to mispronounce anything. It'll be in the description. But basically, they would do a breast examination, like feel, how big their breasts are. They'll see how much hair is on their body, like just stupid shit. Yeah, and they did one more. They did breast, how big the breasts are, how much hair they're growing. Oh, and the frequency of their voice, how deep their voice is. So they would do these tests, which is sort of seems like against human rights. And then they canceled the South African girl. She appealed and she lost the appeal. And what's even worse is they tell these women that you have to do birth control pills for 6 months because, when women go on birth control, their testosterone goes down, or you have to do some sort of androgen reduction therapy where you lower your testosterone levels just to be able to participate in the event. Now, this is why this is fucked up, right? The papers that and I'm going to reference the papers too, the paper that they reference as the proof that testosterone levels regulate and cause better athletic performance in this event for a woman is this fucked up correlational study in some dumbass paper, British Journal of I don't know what the fuck it was. I'll reference it so you can see it. the last video I made, it was a Nature paper. These papers are done really well, peer-reviewed, very strict guidelines. I tried to publish in Nature too when I was doing my PhD, and I couldn't. I tried. And so it's a very, very prestigious journal. So that shit I trust. But this paper is just retarded. Really bad methods. There was even a paper to talk about how bad and shit this other study was done. And I'll reference that paper too. And so it was a correlational study. And remember, I talked about this in my last video. Correlation does not mean causation. This thing goes up, this thing goes up, or this thing goes down, and this thing goes down. That doesn't mean one causes the other, or vice versa. None of that applies. It's just stupid way to interpret science, and these fucked up politicians do it all the time, apparently. I haven't even gotten to the racism part yet, but I will. So, unfortunately, this happened, and she lost the appeal, and now she can never participate in international events because of these asshole agencies won't let her. Dude, this girl is producing testosterone naturally. Like, we should celebrate her, even if she wins every single time. I mean, where do you draw the line, right? Michael Jordan had these amazing hands that Phil Jackson talks about. Like, he had these amazing, huge fucking hands. So should we measure like the length of the fingers or the length of the hand and ban people who have big, like, what's the difference between testosterone levels and hand length? What's the difference? Tell me, comment below, tell me. Or Michael fucking Phelps has half the lactic acid as normal athletes. This was measured in Michael Phelps. So does that mean Michael Phelps should be stripped of all of his gold medals, or he shouldn't be allowed to participate? What the fuck is up with that? Right? Then I got to the issue of, holy fuck, what if it's racism? What if, because this girl, Dutti Chand, is Indian, and the South African girl is South African, that's why this shit is happening. And look, I'll be honest with you. In my life, I have always been sort of an optimist, and I still am. You know, I have always denied racism. And now that I read these things and I like open my eyes to the world, you know, going to Ukraine for 11 months, 10 and a half months, I guess you feel racism. Even though someone may not call you like the N-word, like they may do to an African American, or someone calls you Paki or a terrorist or Arab, or I've never been treated like that in my life. Maybe that's unfortunate. Maybe if I was, I'd be tougher and like stronger. I almost want to have these experiences so I can feel racism. But maybe a lot of the things that I've kept myself back, the fear that I've had in life, has been an impact of that external racism. I just never figured it out. Have you felt this type of racism in your life? Tell me in the comment below. At least I'll see that viewers have experienced it, so I will learn from you guys. So then I asked my brother's mother-in-law, and I told her about this, and she said that in her school, there was a girl who was a very poor Indian family, and she was here in Montreal, and she fell and broke her hand because some other girl pushed her. And she fell from one story, broke her hand. And the rule is that like you can stay out of the school for 2 weeks and you still be okay. But she was, you know, she didn't want to come back because they didn't have insurance and there were some other issues or whatever the case was. So she stayed home for 6 weeks to get cured and taken care of. And they basically kicked her out of the school. And the parents were like, what the fuck is this? The Indian teachers at the school is, what the fuck is this? This is racism. You can't do that. And my brother's mother-in-law, my aunt, her hypothesis or conjecture is, it's because she's Indian or she's of a minority race. If it was a white girl or a white guy, because of white privilege, perhaps. And remember, I'm just guessing here. I don't know. I haven't experienced it as much as other people have. Maybe it's a blessing or maybe it's a curse. I don't know. But if it was a white person, then they would be afraid that this person would be able to go to the ministry and complain. And because it's some poor family, lower middle class or very low class, they can't do shit, so they shut up. Because, you know, minorities in America, Canada are maybe not in places like Toronto, but, you know, most states in America, minorities are scared and taken kind of like, don't talk. They're very, very darpok. Darpok is like a scary cat. And so, yeah, man, what do you guys think? Like, have you experienced any kind of racism? What do you think about this? Like, an athlete who has naturally high testosterone, how could they be prevented from being an athlete, like a woman? Because it won't apply in men, because men can't have, like, there's a fucking saturation, right? Like, unless you do steroids or dope, you can't naturally have like some crazy amount of testosterone. It just we've never seen it. But in women, that is possible, because they could have certain polymorphism, certain mutation in their genetics, in their genes, or certain traits that happen because of mutation, and that makes them have hair and reduced breast size, and maybe their voice is deeper like a man's. And the other really sad thing is Dutti Chand last year came out of the closet. You know, she's gay, she's a lesbian. And her sister like ridiculed her, scolded her, like she's a disgrace to the family. It was really, really sad. Anyway, I wanted to make this video for you guys about testosterone and I guess, you know, how it relates to racism in this case. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll continue to provide value for you guys here from Montreal. Stay safe. Yeah, man, hope things become normal again. You know, I just played football with my brother. We did a bunch of sprints. It was amazing. I'll post it in the academy, in the aphro-d academy. You guys can look at it, and maybe even on my Instagram. So you can see, you know, some cool shit that I'm doing here. Just still taking action, you know, doing good shit every day, growing the aphro-d academy. We're at like 830-ish members, growing like crazy, man. If you don't know about aphro-d, I'm sure there's links below in the description. Check it out. You can even go to aphro-d.com, check that out. And all the information is there. It's for you to see and join us as soon as possible and really, really improve your life as a man. It's a game changer, man. aphro-d.com, aphro-d. All right, see you next time.